a career-ending injury at just 29 years old. That's what Gary Bailey faced when doctors told him his knee would never recover. But what happened next wasn't the end of his story. It was just the beginning of something even more remarkable. The Manchester United legend didn't just survive his setback. He built an empire that spans 3 continents and inspired future football greats. Gary Bailey's path to Old Trafford was unlike any other. Born in Ipswich but raised in South Africa, he grew up playing football under the blazing sunshine. His father, Roy, was his biggest influence, a former Ipswich Town player who moved to Johannesburg. Young Gary would attend his father's training sessions, even taking shots from the team. This early exposure gave him insights into professional football that most kids never get. At just 17, Bailey became the regular keeper at Wits University. He was studying engineering when Manchester United came calling. Breaking into the first team at 20 was described as a massive step. He had the skills, but lacked traditional preparation for English football conditions. The rain and frozen pitches were a shock after South African beaches and swimming pools. His chance came in November 1978 when Jim Blith's proposed move from Coventry collapsed due to medical reasons. Bailey's debut was against his father's former club, Ipswich. A perfect full-circle moment. He played every remaining game that season, quickly making his mark. Bailey's commanding presence in goal was legendary. His height, athleticism, and vocal leadership made him a superb shot stopper. He earned respect from senior teammates through consistent performances. Over the next decade, he would amass 375 first-team appearances for Manchester United. But success wasn't immediate. His first major test came in the 1979 FA Cup final against Arsenal. United had fought back from 2-0 down to equalise with late goals in the 86th and 88th minutes. Then disaster struck in the 89th minute. Alan Sunderland's winning goal for Arsenal came from a Graham Rix cross. Bailey misjudged it completely. In his own words, he clutched thin air as Sunderland slid the ball in at the far post. The media reaction was brutal. Bailey received tough press and felt the match brought him back down to earth with a bump. But here's what made Bailey special. He owned his mistake completely. "The moment that you leave your line as a keeper, it's on you," he said. No excuses, no blame shifting. This mindset would define his entire career. The 1979 defeat became his driving force, providing added motivation for future success. That motivation paid off spectacularly. Bailey won 2 FA Cup medals with Manchester United in 1983 and 1985. The 1983 final against Brighton was particularly challenging. United narrowly avoided defeat, with Bailey making a crucial save in the final seconds before securing victory in the replay. The 1985 triumph was even better. A hard-fought victory over Everton with 10 men in extra time, sealed by Norman Whiteside's fantastic goal. Bailey considered this the better of the 2 wins, given Everton's status as champions. But football can be cruel. In the 1983-84 FA Cup third round, holders Manchester United suffered a shocking 2-0 defeat to 3rd Division AFC Bournemouth. The opening goal came after what was described as a dreadful mistake from Bailey, who fumbled a Chris Sully corner. The media circled like vultures. Bournemouth's captain publicly criticised United's prima donnas, specifically singling out Bailey. Internationally, Bailey's opportunities were severely restricted. Despite playing for England from 1979 to 1986, he earned only 2 senior caps. Peter Shilton and Ray Clements, 2 of the greatest keepers in English history, blocked his path. Bailey humorously noted that as a goalkeeper, only one can play, and if he were from another part of the UK, he might have racked up tens of caps. Bailey's biggest test came during England's 1986 World Cup preparations. On April 21st, 1986, at Bisham Abbey, he sustained a severe knee injury during training. The timing was devastating. This was supposed to be his World Cup moment, the pinnacle of any international footballer's career. An initial cartilage removal operation was deemed successful. Bailey was passed fit on May 22nd and travelled with the squad to Mexico. But he spent the tournament as a squad member without making an appearance. After the World Cup on June 26th, it was announced he would need further surgery. His recovery was described as slow and precise. He wasn't considered for reserves until December that year. A subsequent calf injury prevented a planned European tie return in January 1987, but he managed to return to Football League action on February the 21st, playing 5 league matches. Despite these determined attempts to return to full fitness, his knee injury surfaced again on April 23, 1987. This forced him to announce his retirement from professional football at the remarkably young age of 29. Surgeons later removed a razor-sharp piece of his bone from his knee in late 1987, underscoring the severity of the issue. The injury had failed to respond to treatment, definitively ending his illustrious Manchester United career. But Bailey's story was far from over. After forced retirement from English football, Bailey returned to South Africa. Following a period of resting his knee, he made a surprising return to professional football, signing with the glamour club Kaizer Chiefs on January 19, 1988. His return was remarkably successful. With Kaizer Chiefs, Bailey won the National Soccer League in 1989 and amassed an impressive 5 trophies in just 2 years. These included a quadruple in 1989, the National Soccer League, BP Top 8, JPS Knockout, Charity Spectacular, and Olsen's Challenge Cup. There's an interesting dynamic here. William Shongwe, a contemporary goalkeeper at Kaizer Chiefs, initially believed his own career was over when Bailey arrived. However, Shongwe recovered and remarkably regained the #1 spot, proudly stating he kept Gary Bailey on the bench. This led to a goalkeeping rotation that contributed to their highly successful 1989 season. Unfortunately, Bailey's persistent knee issues began to flare up again towards the end of the 1989 season, ultimately leading to his final retirement from playing in 1990. Following this definitive end to his playing career, he transitioned into media, becoming a radio presenter on Talk Radio 702. But this transition wasn't just a fallback plan, it was the beginning of an extraordinary second career. For 25 years, Bailey served as a prominent TV presenter and host, primarily with SuperSport in South Africa, where he became recognised as the face of English football to the continent of Africa. During his tenure at SuperSport, he hosted his own chat show, produced soccer programmes, and even served as head of soccer for 5 years. Since 2014, he has continued his media career with beIN Sports in Miami, USA, providing colour commentaries for Spanish and French matches. Parallel to his media career, Bailey established himself as a top speaker on the global circuit, focusing on success under pressure. He has delivered keynote speeches to numerous top-tier companies, including Microsoft, IBM, Nike, Coca-Cola, AON, Mercedes-Benz, and SAB Miller. His significant success in this field was formally recognised by his induction into the Speakers Hall of Fame in 2010. Bailey uniquely leverages his MBA training from Henley Oxford, combined with his extensive personal experiences of performing under intense pressure. He integrates latest world research with personal anecdotes and draws lessons from highly successful individuals, including his former manager, Sir Alex Ferguson. Bailey praises Ferguson as absolutely brilliant, a genius as a manager, and tough as nails who was also a very nice guy. Ferguson was tactically astute, someone who never painted every player with the same brush and knew his players. Bailey shares profound observations into the psychological aspects of goalkeeping, such as handling blame after mistakes. His famous advice to young players, take a little bit of grass in your hand, sprinkle it in the back of the goal, that's your mistake. Leave it there. This mental technique helps players move past errors. He firmly believes that former players can add unique value by understanding the deep inside feelings that coaches who haven't played might miss. Perhaps one of the most compelling indicators of Bailey's enduring legacy is the revelation that Peter Schmeichel, a legendary goalkeeper himself, idolised Gary Bailey as a youngster, stating Bailey was his favourite goalkeeper of all time. This personal endorsement from a future footballing great highlights Bailey's significant influence on the next generation of players. Gary Bailey's career is a compelling narrative of resilience and reinvention. From Manchester United legend to Kaizer Chiefs champion, from broadcaster to globally respected speaker, his journey exemplifies extraordinary adaptability. His candid reflections on pressure, learning from mistakes, and leadership offer invaluable insights into mental fortitude required at elite levels. Bailey's legacy isn't defined by spectacular saves or trophies alone, but by his lasting impact as a role model and powerful testament to perseverance. At almost 70, Gary Bailey lives as an inspiration, proving that setbacks are simply setups for remarkable comebacks.